Hello students, in this video we are going to study about the super heterodyne receivers which we are using in receiving an AM signal. Objectives: we are going to discuss about the block diagram of a super heterodyne receiver, then we will study in detail different blocks of the receiver, and finally the performance characteristics of the super heterodyne receiver. Now basically, what is the need of a receiver? Receivers are used to intercept the electromagnetic wave in the receiving antenna to produce the desired RF modulated signal, select the desired signal and to reject the unwanted signal, amplify the AF signal, detect the RF signal to get back the original modulating frequency voltages. So this all are the requirement of using a receivers. This one is a block diagram of particularly super heterodyne receiver. Super heterodyne receiver, the word heterodyne basically means mixing. So in super heterodyne receiver, we are mixing the two signals, and the two signals are mixed in such a way the output is always an IF frequency, that is an intermediate frequency. So this is the working principle of using a super heterodyne receiver. In this, whatever is the received signal, we convert that received signal by mixing it with the local oscillator frequency to generate the IF signal. So this one is a block diagram of a super heterodyne receiver. This receiver consists of the pre-selector stage, RF stage. These are the stages which are immediately present after the receiving antenna. Then we are having a mixer. To the mixer, we mix the input signal with the signal which is generated by the local oscillator, and the output of this signal is called as an IF signal or the IF frequency. Now based on the input signal, the local oscillator frequency is adjusted in such a way whatever is your input signal, the output is always a fixed value, that is an IF value, and generally the IF is selected to be 455 kilohertz. After IF, we are having an IF amplifier. This IF amplifier section is to amplify the IF section. Now one thing is very interesting over here, if your receiver signal is having a carrier frequency, in a range of 535 to 1640, that is the general range of a AM signal, but at the output of a IF section, it gets converted to 455 kilohertz. So whatever is your input signal, at the input of the IF amplifier, it gets converted to 455 kilohertz. And after IF amplifier, we are having an AM detector. The job of AM detector is to recover the actual signal back from the modulated signal, and then we are having an audio amplifier, and then finally we are having a speaker which is present at the receiver end. So these all are the blocks which are present in a super heterodyne receiver. We are going to study each and every block in a detail. So the receiver is basically consists of 5 sections. First one is the RF section, then we are having a mixer or a converter section, IF section, audio detector section, and the audio selector section. RF section is the first section. This section is made up of two basic sections. First one is the pre-selector stage and the amplifier stage. The job of pre-selector stage is to the broad tuning bandpass filter and the adjustable frequency that is tuned to the carrier frequency, provide initial band limiting to prevent specific unwanted radio frequency called the image frequency from entering into the receiver, reduce the noise bandwidth of the receiver, and provides the initial step towards the reducing the overall receiver bandwidth to the minimum bandwidth required to pass the information signal. This all are the job performed by the pre-selector stage. Then the output of the pre-selector stage is given to the amplifier stage. This amplifier is an RF amplifier actually. It determines the sensitivity of the receiver. RF amplifier is the first active device in the network. It is the primary contributor to the noise, and it is the predominant factor in determining the noise figure. Then the output of the amplifier is given to the mixer stage. Mixer stage consists of the two components. First one is the mixer and second one is the local oscillator. So what is the mixer stage? The mixer stage will perform the super heterodyning took place at the mixer stage, and the radio frequencies are down converted to the intermediate frequency. Carrier and the sidebands are translated to the higher frequency without affecting the envelope of the message. We are not at all affecting the envelope, that is, we are not at all affecting the voltage of the signal. We are only reducing the carrier frequency to the intermediate frequency. So this is a job of a mixer stage. Now this is how the RF frequencies are converted to the IF frequency, that is the intermediate frequency. Now this is your receiver input. The receiver input is in the range of 535 to 1605 kilohertz, that is the typical range of a AM wave. Then the pre-selector stage is set to the value of 535 to the 565 kilohertz. So it will down convert this value to 535 to 565 kilohertz. Now this input is given to the mixer along with the input selected by the local oscillator. Now the local oscillator is set to a value of 1005 kilohertz. If you have a look over this picture, your pre-selector stage is having the value of frequency from 535 kilohertz to the 565 kilohertz. Now these values are mixed with the input which we are getting from the local oscillator. Now local oscillator value is 1005. Now after mixing these two signal, we are getting the range of frequency which is the 440 kilohertz to 470 kilohertz. So from where we are getting 440, 1005 minus 565 is 440 and 16005 minus 535 is 470 kilohertz. So in this way this signal is down converted to the frequency band of 440 kilohertz to the 470 kilohertz. Now the local oscillator frequency is always the addition of the input signal frequency and the IF frequency, and then this range of frequencies are passed through the IF filter which is set to a frequency of, it's a band pass filter which is set to the value of 450 to 460 kilohertz. So in this way we are getting the output that is an IF output. So output of the IF section is always a fixed range of frequency. So whatever is your input signal, it gets down converted to the value that is the IF value. Then the next part is the gang tuning. Now what is the job of gang tuning? In the superluminant receiver, we are having the various sections or various devices are connected over here. So the adjustment for the center frequency of the pre-selector and the adjustment for the local oscillator are gang tuned. So we need to tune all the sections to the same frequency. The two adjustments are mechanically tied together and the signal adjustment will change the center frequency of the pre-selector and the local oscillator. So this function is called as a gang tuning. Next one is the tracking. The receiver has a number of tunable circuits such as antenna or a mixer or the local oscillator tune circuit. All these circuits must be tuned correctly if any station is to be tuned. For this reason, the capacitor in the various tune circuits are ganged, mechanically coupled to each other. Due to this arrangement, it is possible to use only one tuning control to varying the tuning capacitors of all the devices simultaneously. Let the local oscillator frequency be FO must be precisely adjusted to the value which is above the signal frequency Fs by an IF, that is FO is equals to Fs by Fs plus IF. If the tuning is not done precisely, then the frequency difference, that is FO minus Fs, is not correct. This type of errors are called as a tracking error. Because of tracking, it is the process, because tracking is a process in which the local frequency oscillator follows or track the signal frequency to have a correct frequency difference. So this tracking is very important. Tracking is responsible for changing the frequency of a local oscillator in accordance with the input signal frequency, and due to tracking error the station will appear away from their correct position on the frequency dial of the receiver. So we are having various types of tracking. So there are two types of basic tracking, 2-point tracking and the 3-point tracking. This 2-point and 3 points are completely based on the point where we are getting the points where we are getting zero tracking error. Under 2-point tracking we are having again two subtypes, padded tracking and the trimmer tracking. The first one is a padded tracking. In padded tracking section, if you observe, the capacitor, that is a CP, is connected in series with the local oscillator capacitor. Now as these two capacitors are connected in the series, the effective capacitance will be less than that of the local oscillator capacitor alone. This will increase the oscillator frequency, making the tracking error positive. The padded capacitor is adjusted to have a zero tracking error on the two extreme point of the frequency dial. Therefore it is called as a 2-point tracking. Next type of tracking is a trimmer tracking. In trimmer tracking, the trimmer capacitor is connected in parallel with the oscillator capacitor. Due to parallel connection of these two capacitor, the effective capacitance will be greater than the local oscillator capacitance alone. This decreases the oscillator frequency, making the error negative. The trimmer is adjusted to get the zero error in the 2 points on the frequency dial. So therefore it is also called as a 2-point tracking. Next type of tracking is a 3-point tracking. 3-point tracking is a combination of the paddle tracking and the trimmer tracking. So we are having two capacitors. First one is connected in series with the local oscillator capacitor, and second one is connected in a parallel. So therefore it is called as a 3-point tracking. Why? Because here is a 3 point where the error is 0. Next point is in IF. Now IF is very important, and the choice of IF plays an important role. If the IF is too high, poor selectivity and the poor adjacent channel rejection ratio is there, and the tracking is difficult. If your IF value is too low, image frequency rejection become poorer, and selectivity too sharp and cutoff sidebands are the reason, and instability of oscillator will occur. Therefore the choice of IF is very important. It should not be too high or should not be too low. And the generalized value of IF which is used in an AM receiver is a 455 kHz. Last block is a detector. Detector is a device or the circuit that extracts the information from the modulated radio frequency, current or the voltage. In this section we are going to study three basic types of detector. First one is an envelope detector, synchronous detector and the rectified detector. The first type of detector is an envelope detector. This is a circuit diagram of an envelope detector. Now in envelope detector we are having a diode, and the output of diode, at the output of a diode we are having an RC circuit. The RC circuit is selected in such a way that the value of R is very large and the value of C is small. So what happens during the for the positive half cycle, the diode gets forward bias and the input is given to the capacitor, and the capacitor will start charging. As soon as the capacitor will charge to the maximum value, it will stop charging and it will start discharging. Now in the negative half cycle, the diode is in reverse bias condition and the capacitor is discharging. As the capacitor discharges through the R and the R value is very large, though the tau, that is discharging time RC, is very large. So this was shown over here. This indicates the AM wave and this line indicates the charging and discharging of the capacitor. So this is the charging of a capacitor. It will took a large time for discharging. It was shown over here. Then again capacitor will start charge, discharge, charge, discharge, and then we are getting the approximated version of a AM signal. So this is the output of an envelope detector. Next type of detector is a synchronous detector. The working principle of synchronous detector or the synchronous demodulator is what? In synchronous detector we take the modulated signal and we multiply the modulated signal with the carrier which we are using at the modulator board, in the modulator block. These two signals will generate the output, and that output is passed through the low pass filter. Low pass filter will block higher frequency and it will passes the lower frequency. Now in modulated signal is a combination of a two signal, that is a modulating signal and a carrier. Modulating signal is your information signal which is having a less frequency compared to the frequency of a carrier. Now as this signal passes through the low pass filter, it will blocks carrier and passes only modulating signal, and in this way we are getting a demodulated signal, or we are recovering the actual information back. Next type of detector is a rectified detector. So this is a block diagram of a rectified detector. In rectified detector we are taking input from a transformer, then it is applied to the diode. The diode gets forward bias when the input is positive, it will get reverse bias when the input is negative. Then we are having a capacitor. This capacitor will act as a filter. So we'll just discuss about the working. So this is the input. This input is a AM signal combination of a carrier signal and the modulating signal. This signal is passed to the diode. Now in the forward bias region, the diode will passes only the signal which is present in the positive side. So it will passes only the positive signal and the negative signal gets rejected, or the negative signal is not there. So at the output of diode we are getting only this much portion. Now this portion is given to the capacitor which act as a rectifier. Now what this capacitor will do? The capacitor which act as a filter. The capacitor will blocks the lower range of frequency and the blocks higher range of frequency and passes only the lower range of frequency. So in this waveform, it is a combination of a higher frequency, that is a carrier, and the lower frequency, that is a modulating signal. So the carrier signal gets blocked and we are getting only modulating signal. So therefore at the output we are getting only modulating signal and the carrier gets rejected. Then the next parameter is performance characteristics of the super heterodyne receiver. Now this four parameters defines the performance of a super heterodyne receiver. First one is the sensitivity, selectivity, fidelity and the double spotting. What is selectivity? Selectivity of an AM receiver is defined as the ability to accept or to select desired band of frequency and to reject all unwanted frequency which can be interfere the signals. Next one is the sensitivity. Sensitivity of a receiver is its ability to identify weak signals at the receiver output. It is often defined in terms of voltage that must be applied to the input terminal of the receiver to produce the standard output power which is measured at the output terminal. The higher value of receiver gain ensures smaller input signal necessary to produce the desired output power. Next parameter is the fidelity. Fidelity of a receiver is its ability to reproduce the exact replica of the transmitted signal at the receiver output. For the better fidelity, the amplifier must pass high bandwidth signal to amplify of the frequency of the outermost sideband, while for better selectivity, the signal should have narrow bandwidth. Thus, a trade-off is made between the selectivity and the fidelity. Last parameter is a double spotting. Double spotting is a condition where we are getting same signal at the two different point or at the two different nearby points. So this is called as a double spotting. So the reason for double spotting is a poor front-end selectivity and the inadequate image frequency rejection ratio leads to the double spotting. Now here we have discussed one example to clarify the double spotting. Consider the incoming signal, strong signal of a 1000 kilohertz and the local oscillator is tuned to 1400. Now as the input signal value is 1000 and the local oscillator is tuned to 1455, thus the IF value which we are getting at the output is 455 kilohertz is produced at the output, and which is nothing but the IF frequency. Now consider the same signal but with 545 kilohertz tuned local oscillator. Here the local oscillator frequency is tuned to 545 kilohertz. Now again we are getting the output as 455. Now therefore the same 1000 kilohertz signal will appear at 1400 kilohertz as well as at the 545 kilohertz on the receiver dial. So this parameter is called as a double spotting, where we are receiving the same signal at the two different locations. Okay, so this is all about the double spotting. Thank you for listening to my video.